In the Old Testament prophecies, God told his followers that they were to know and understand about the first coming of the Messiah. When Christ came, he admonished the religious leaders, the teachers, because they did not recognize the time of his coming. If we don't recognize the time of Christ's first coming after the fact, it may throw off our perspective and understanding about the second coming. The doctrine of the first coming was clearly spelled out in the Old Testament prophecies, just as the doctrine of the second coming is spelled out in the Scriptures. The first coming of the Messiah, called the Christ. When did he come? To whom did he come? And how did he come? First, when did the Messiah, the Christ, come? In Daniel's prophecies, we're told to know and understand from the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah, the ruler, comes, there would be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. So from the decree until the Messiah comes, there would be 69 sevens, and we're told to understand this. From the decree. There are several decrees in the Bible to rebuild the temple, but there is only one decree in the Bible to rebuild Jerusalem. It's recorded in Nehemiah 2. In the month of Nisan, the 12th year of King Artaxerxes, Nehemiah asked the king for permission to rebuild Jerusalem, and the king granted his request. This would be in March 14th, 445 BC. This is the starting point. So from the decree recorded in Nehemiah until John, the Gospel of John, which is dated April 6th, 32 AD, we find that 5 days before the Passover, a great crowd had come for the feast of Passover and heard that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. They took palm branches and went out to meet him, saying, "Save! Blessed is the King of Israel." Jesus Christ came on April 6th, 32 AD, the first coming of the Messiah, the King, exactly as prophesied in Daniel. So when did the Messiah come? He came exactly at 69 sevens, just as Daniel had prophesied, from Nehemiah's decree until April 6th, 32 AD, when Christ rode in on the colt of a donkey on that festival procession. In Psalm 118 we see that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. O Lord, save us. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. From the house of Yahweh we bless you. With boughs in hand, join in the festival procession up to the horns of the altar. Christ came exactly as prophesied in Psalm 118. They proclaimed, the Messiah comes in the name of the Lord. So 5 days before the Passover, a great crowd that had come for the feast heard that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, and they took palm branches and went out to meet him, shouting, "Save! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel." Just as we saw in Psalm 118, 24 and 25, John, the Gospel, records this precise arrival of the King coming to Jerusalem. Just as we saw prophesied in Psalm 118, the Gospel of John records that the Messiah came during the Passover festival to Jerusalem, to the Israelites. How did the Messiah come? Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on the colt, the foal of a donkey. Zechariah chapter 9 recorded or prophesied precisely how the Messiah would appear. And he appeared exactly on schedule, exactly as he was described. Once again, as we see in the Gospel of John, John recorded that the Messiah came just as was prophesied in Zechariah 9. 5 days before the Passover, a great crowd that had come for the feast heard that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, and they took palm branches and went out to meet him, shouting, "Save! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel. Your King comes on a donkey, on the colt of a donkey." So how did the Messiah come? He came exactly as prophesied. When, to whom, and how. When we try to interpret prophecies, we've seen by the prophecies related to Christ's first coming that we must interpret them precisely and clearly. Christ did not come at his birth. Christ did not come at his baptism. He came at Passover during the festival procession, precisely at the time that Daniel prophesied his arrival. We also know that God is immutable. He doesn't change. The way he has acted in the past is the way he acts in the future. He will fulfill all future prophecies with the same precision that he's fulfilled past prophecies. That's why it's so important that we read Scripture and understand what Christ is saying about the second coming. We have entered into the time of the end, and we must be alert and watchful.